Nobody feels any pain. Tonight is the last time inside the rain, and everybody knows that baby's got new clothes. But lately I see ribbons and her bows have fallen from her curls. Yeah, she takes just like a woman. Oh yes, she does. And she makes love just like a woman. Yeah. And she aches just like a woman, but she breaks just like a little girl. Yes. Queen Mary, she's my friend. Yes, I believe I'll go see her again. Nobody has to guess. Baby can't be blessed till she finally sees she's just like all the rest. With her fog, her amphetamine, and her pearls. Yeah, she tastes just like a woman. Yes, she does. And she makes love just like a woman. Yeah. She aches just like a woman, yeah. And she breaks just like a little girl. Oh, it was raining at first. I was dying there of thirst. So I came here. Leave me. And your long time curse hurts. But what's worse is the pain in here. Oh, I can't stay here, no. Now ain't that clear, no. I just don't fit, no. Yes, I believe it's time for us to quit. Yes. And when we meet again, introduced as friends, please don't let on that you knew me when I was hungry and it was your world. You fake just like a woman, yes you do. And you make love just like a woman, yeah. And you ache just like a woman, and you break just like a little girl. Nobody feels any pain. Tonight is the last time inside the rain. Everybody knows that baby's got new clothes. Lately I see ribbons and her bows have fallen from her curls. She tastes just like a woman, yeah she does. And she makes love just like a woman, yeah. And she aches just like a woman, but she breaks just like a little girl. For real.
The O Street Mansion and Museum would like to thank Bob Dylan and Spirit Investment Partners for their unyielding support and for their partnership on this unique and proprietary blend of Heaven's Door whiskey. A toast to the mansion and the museum.
Welcome, everybody, to the O Museum's virtual Green Room sessions. My name is Susie Markland, and I'm here today with Ted Spiro, president of the Mansion on O Street, and Dr. Dredd, founder of RAS Records and author of The Half That's Never Been Told, The Real-Life Reggae Adventures of Dr. Dredd. All donations will go to benefit the O Museum Foundation in the Mansion on O Street. The mission of the O Street Museum Foundation is to promote healing through music, art, and sports. Their programs have provided safe places for creators to create and then share those creative works with the world. The philosophy is that the arts provide an outlet to get thoughts and ideas into the open. And through the arts, people have shared experiences that bring them together and inspire us to be better and kinder. The O Museum Foundation has helped many artists that we all know and love, too many to name. And the O Museum not only supports their programs, but they also support many other charitable foundations aimed at making the world a better place. So please visit omuseum.org for more about this magical place and consider a donation to help them to continue this important work. So now I can't think of a better way to introduce our guest tonight other than to read an excerpt from his book, The Half That's Never Been Told. This introduction was written by Bunny Wailer of the Wailers. Dr. Dredd is one of the few international producers to travel to Jamaica and engage the singers and musicians not only in business, but also as a unique people of Jamaica. He bought a home in Portland to extend that relationship. So I've always had a good feeling about him as a person, not just taking out and away, but giving back. Dr. Dredd has been a very serious contributor to the global value of this great reggae music. RAS Records has been, and somehow still is, the record label responsible for so many of the talents, including myself, who have been established coming from Jamaica, and his eloquence surrounding this great music is enormous. Ready, Ted?
I am ready.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to turn this over to Ted, but I want to thank you for coming, and thank you, Dr. Dredd. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to turn it over to Ted. Take it away.
Welcome, everybody. We have a very special edition here of the Green Room with Dr. Dredd, and we're just very fortunate to have him here. And of course, we have found out that he spent a lot of time in the mansion over the years and has set many people here to stay and play and just enjoy the magic of the mansion, and we really appreciate it. But for the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to go through a little history lesson and find out, you know, the whole story of Dr. Dredd and how everything became the way it was. So, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So we're in Washington, D.C. You grew up in the area back in the 60s and 50s, 60s, whatever. You're going to high school. You know, you're growing up in the 60s and did all those 60s things like, you know, partaking in drugs and music and everything else.
And kind of wandering around, going upstate New York. Tell us what happened in your head. You know, how did you end up in Jamaica?
Well, it is true. I was born in 1954 at George Washington University Hospital, right here in D.C., lived through the 60s, protested against the Vietnam War, graduated in 72 from high school in Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. And instead of going off to college like most kids in suburban Maryland, I decided to get on a plane by myself at 17 and go to Colombia, South America. So I was smoking lots of weed at the time and, you know, was kind of not too enamored with the whole situation in Washington and suburbia and wanted to just get out and experience the world. So after staying there and upful life, I just figured, go Gary, go there and feel the vibes, get to know the people, and stay out of trouble.
And you felt safe down there?
Well, I felt safe, very safe, but I'm also smart because I'd been living in South America, and I don't like to refer to places as third world countries, but, I realize what it's like living an existence day to day where you go to the market to buy your food, so you can eat food that day to survive and live. So I had some instinctual ways of surviving and getting around and knowing, how to work my way through situations.
Did you have jobs down there? I mean, did you make money?
In Jamaica?
Yeah.
No. I just went to check out the place. And I remember I went to Negril and looked on a map, and I found the name of this town way up in the Blue Mountains called Fruitful Vale. And I said, this sounds like a wonderful, magical place. So I decided I'm going to go to Fruitful Vale because I try to live my life with vibes, and the vibes are what tell me what to do. So I worked my way across the island, literally walking across Jamaica. And this is kind of legendary to the Jamaican people, how Dr. Dread walked across the island.
That's awesome.
And I ended up in Fruitful Vale and climbed up to Blue Mountain Peak, which is 7,402 feet, is the highest mountain range in the Caribbean. And up there, I fasted and spent time meditating and, stayed the night up there. And just, I really, the Jamaica vibe is something that is very strong within I.
And it has a lot to do with the music?
Yeah, well, when I heard Bob Marley, Catch a Fire in 1973 and heard his message and what he was singing about equality and justice and how we're all equal and we're the same, it really resonated with me, the message and that beat coming from being in the tropics for, a year and a half. And it just really hit me, and I connected with Bob Marley's music and his message and the whole Rastafarian way of life. And, we have a good-sized Jamaican community here in Washington, D.C., over on Georgia Avenue. And there was a store called RAS Records. So I would go in there, and they would teach me more about the music and the music history and the culture. And I was very comfortable with the Jamaican people and community.
But you had, you were smoking pot and everything. But what about your mushroom epiphany? Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Well, I used to eat a lot of mushrooms in South America.
Yeah.
So there was a town in remote Colombia named San Agustin, where there were a lot of pre-Columbian statues made in there. And people would come from around the world to study about this pre-Columbian history. And it was also a place where a lot of hippies came and ate mushrooms. So, mushrooms, I believe, elevate your consciousness. It's not really about getting high. It's about getting a higher consciousness. So when I was walking to Blue Mountain Peak in Jamaica, I became an expert in South America at knowing what the psilocybin mushroom looked like. And as I was walking after having lunch and bathing in a stream, I looked over and there was a very large psilocybin mushroom that I decided, of course, that was put there for me and I was supposed to eat it. And as I walked higher and higher, I started getting higher. And I remember I got to a coffee farm very near the peak where people would stay before climbing that final 2-3 hours to the peak. And a Rasta man through a wood stove made me a hot bath that I could relax in. And I was so high on mushrooms, smoking a spliff, and on the radio came on the music of Count Ozzy and the mystic revelation of Rastafari, because he passed away that day. and they were playing this amazing music, and I'm just laying in a tub, feeling so good, and and I'm still very connected to Jamaica and Jamaican artists. And I just remixed a Bob Dylan song.
How cool is that? Doesn't get any cooler than that. That's all I can say. Well, we're waiting for the full album release because I'm sure that's going to come sometime down the road. After this comes out, they'll see what they need to do.
Yeah, man. This has really been a great year for me, and I'm just riding high on all of these fortunate things that are happening for me.
I think I can't wait to come out and visit the store.
It's so cool, man. It reminds me of the mansion. You know, you got this place loaded up with these cool antiques, you know, and that's kind of what Sally, my girlfriend, and I do. We go around looking for interesting, unique things that, you know, make people feel good. And it's an energy town. You know, we have mud baths and these hot springs that heal people. And it's a very special place that I plan to spend the rest of my life in.
That's good. That's incredible. We're going to open it up for any questions. If anybody has a question, if you can just raise your hand. Anybody? Okay. Well, yep, go ahead.
Question.
Deborah? Oh.
No, I have a question. It's H.
Yep.
Did you do anything with Marvel Comics? Because I saw something or not. Did you hear me?
Yeah, it's quite interesting you would ask this question. Because we are releasing a record coming up with one of the top American living artists right now. His name is Eric White. And he did do a comic book cover of something called Scientist Dubs Culture into a Parallel Universe. And we've re-engaged him to do the back cover, also in a comic book style. And we're going to do this with a hologram. And we're working with Bob Dylan's art director, because both Eric White and Jeff Gans live in Los Angeles. And so they're working on this album together. And it's pretty exciting, just the artwork alone, you know, to be working with Eric White, who happened to also do the oil painting that is the front cover of Is It Rolling Bob. So things come around and go around very in interesting ways.
Deborah, do you want to unmute yourself? There we go.
I do. I'm tangential. It's what I do. I'm wondering if in your DC escapades you had any experience with Bad Brains.
Well, you know, I knew them, you know, and they kind of respected what I was doing musically. You know, they were kind of on a different trajectory, you know, than the music I was doing, which was more authentic Jamaican music. But, you know, I thought what they were doing was cool, and I'd go see them at the 930 Club and things like that back in the day. But I never had any actual music, you know, work runnings with them. I did try and branch out once beyond reggae with Dave Grohl, who was eventually in, you know, he's in the Foo Fighters now, but he was in, what's the band in Seattle that Dave Grohl was in as the drummer?
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain.
Nirvana. Yeah.
So they had a band here called Scream. They were a bunch of kids from Virginia. So we actually went to Lion and Fox Studio here, you know, made an album, but it never really did anything because maybe I'm just supposed to stick within reggae. So I tried, and I love all music, but yeah, the Bad Brains, their type of music wasn't really something that was what I was doing.
Well, it's almost time to wrap it up here. So we really appreciate you being here. I know you're going to be spending a few days in town, going over your old haunts, but we really appreciate you taking the time out. And believe me, we're going to be listening to a lot of music over the next couple of days while you're here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing you the remix of Joker Man. It's pretty exciting, Ted. It will give you a whole new perspective of the song, and I really appreciate, being your guest today. And I love everything that you and H are doing, both for the music community, for what's going on in Washington, D.C., and, very grateful, to be here with you today.
Well, thank you, Susie. Are we ready to wrap it up? We're all good? All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and hope to see you next time in the green room.
See y'all.
Thank you.